Hello everyone, my name is Prabhavanan and welcome to the Education Post. Here with me is Dr. Vidula Sohani. It's a pleasure to have you here, ma'am, with us today. And
Thank you so
for
much.
those who may not know, Dr. Sohani is the principal of Bharati Vidyapeeth Deemed to University, College of Engineering, Pune. She has made significant contributions to the field of education, engineering education. And thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Sohani.
Thank you. Welcome.
So, with your permission, I'd like to start the interview.
Yes, sure.
Okay, ma'am. So my first question is, you had an illustrious career in the academic and administration. And could you share with us a bit to the readers of Education Post about your background, your journey and the field in the field of education, engineering education, and what motivated you to take that role of principal at Bharati Vidyapeeth College of Engineering?
Okay. I would like to introduce, I am Dr. Vidula Sohani. I completed my graduation from Government College of Engineering, Pune, which was that time only Government College of Engineering in 1983. I was the gold medalist and rank holder of Pune University that time. I got placed in the industry immediately after the college, and I worked in the industry for about 4 years. And then I realized that it is necessary that education, in the education, my contribution, I thought that I would better give my contribution more to the education. So I joined the educational field. And then, as per the requirements of education, I upgraded my education, also completed my PhD. And then I joined Bharati Vidyapeeth College of Engineering. For 20 years, I worked as the head of the department. And now for last few years, I am working as a principal Bharati Vidyapeeth Deemed to be University College of Engineering. While working as an assistant professor, then as a professor, then as a head of the department, I realized that there are many things which I would like to implement to carry out certain changes in education of our institute, to carry out certain positive things for the students. So I thought of that becoming the leader of this institute, I can make certain changes that are necessary for the betterment of the students. And that is why I thought of becoming principal of this particular college, and fortunately got that opportunity. And now I'm working as a principal College of Engineering, Pune.
Really, ma'am, that was really an inspiring journey. Thank you so much for sharing that. And my next question is engineering education that is continuously evolving, keep pace with industry advancements. So, how does the institution like the Bharati Vidyapeeth ensure that its curriculum remains relevant and aligned with the latest industry standards and technological trends?
Okay. I would like to mention here one thing, that our college is a constituent unit of Deemed to be University. So Deemed to be University has the facilitation that we can change our curriculum as and when required. So I perfectly took the advantage of this, and accordingly, whenever there are certain latest change in the industry, latest change in the technology, we modified our curriculum by getting the feedback from the industry, feedback from the alumni, feedback from the employers. And while modifying our curriculum, all these feedbacks were incorporated while changing the curriculum. We made the industry people as our members of the board of studies also. We involve them in all our educational activities also. And accordingly, we are making the curriculum relevant to the industry. It is the need of engineering education that whenever a particular student covers a technical subject or a technical course, he should have the knowledge of the softwares which are related to that particular subject. And if those are not included in the curriculum, for getting the good placement as the need of the industry, the student has to join some private coaching outside for getting the training in that software. What I have taken care that we have included all these softwares as a part of our curriculum. So by the time our student passes out, he knows all the softwares which are required for the industry. At the same time, we have made implant training or industrial training as the integral part of our curriculum. So students have that idea before joining for the placement activity. He already knows what is the requirement of the industry. Accordingly, he prepares for the industry requirements. So our curriculum is completely industry-oriented curriculum. We have introduced skill development courses in our curriculum, as well as we have introduced vocational courses. We have introduced additional industry-taught courses. which is, I think, the unique in our university curriculum. That industry taught courses are partially taught by our faculty members and partially those are taught by the industry people. So we can have the liaison with the industry, as well as students can learn the case studies directly from the industry people, as well as they get the chance to interact with the industry people. That is how we have introduced the industry advancement in our curriculum, and that is the benefit that our students are getting, and that reflects automatically in our good placement.
Definitely. That should be there. And as similar, UGC has also introduced POP, Professor of Practice, in that same manner that you have implemented in your
Yes, that have implemented long back actually.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Mm.
basically, the UGC, the University Grant Commission, recently also introduced a biannual admission policy to enhance the flexibility of and inclusivity of higher education. So, how do you perceive this change impacting engineering sectors, engineering colleges?
Yeah. It is a good change actually for giving the admissions biannually, which is similar globally, that in foreign universities they give the admissions in 2 semesters, spring and fall. So we will be following the same thing in that case. But as far as our institute is concerned, we need to get the permission being the deemed university. And naturally, simply giving the admissions is not sufficient. It is necessary that the college should have the sufficient faculty members, sufficient infrastructure for conducting these biannual programs. At the same time, industry schedule is defined. That means the industry come for the placement in a particular time period. So when it is a biannual programs, the industry should have that much requirement, and accordingly they should come for the placement, because simply teaching the student is not sufficient. Making the engineers is not sufficient. We need to place them also. So the company requirement should also be accordingly increased if it is a biannual admission policy.
Definitely. So, when all the things about engineering is a tough degree to get, as it also affects the mental health of students, especially in the rigorous program of like engineering. It's a growing concern. So, what measures and supports does your institution have in place to address the mental health and well-being of their students?
Yes. We have a very good support system for the students. Always. That is the mental health as well as academic health as well as financial health. We have a mentor-mentee system in our in your university. For every class, we have a guardian faculty member, which we call as a guardian faculty member GFM. So the guardian faculty member is almost the local guardian of the student in this city or in this college. So he looks after that academic performance of the students. The students are very freely talking with the guardian faculty members. They are in good contact with the guardian faculty member. So whatever is their academic performance, their academic difficulties and doubts, guardian faculty member helps them to be in touch with some other faculty member. If there is any psychological issue for the student, he informs that to the guardian faculty member. The college has appointed a counselor. So we can get the appointment of the counselor, and the students then approach those counselors, and whatever is their psychological problem, the counselor tries to solve those problems. Even for financial problems, we have a separate cell where that particular cell helps the student to apply for where are the locations where the students can apply for various scholarships, get various loans according. So
Right.
our mentor-mentee system helps the students in all the three aspects: academics, psychological, as well as financial. So that is how we take due care of the mental health of the engineering students.
Basically, there are two things, the major things that the courses, the courses that you are teaching is a
Yes.
long hectic thing for the students that affects the
Yes.
mental health. After that, the financial
Yes.
and all the things came up.
Correct.
So thank you for sharing over that. So with the
Yes.
advent of digital learning platform like AI-driven experiential to educational tools, how is your institution incorporating technology to enhance the learning experience for engineering students?
Yeah. Our institute basically has certain MOUs with certain industry. So under those MOUs, the industry people and give come here and give the expert lectures to our students. Even they can give the hands-on training on the skills required for a particular student. Certain workshops are conducted for the students. Under these MOUs, our students go and they can have the training programs. Just for example, we have signed the MOU with CDAC. And under CDAC, our students go and get the training. 24 of our students have completed their training just this year. Similarly, the companies come here and conduct various workshops for our students. They arrange the site visits for our student for the industry. So accordingly, whatever are the latest technology, we conduct various students training programs. It is mandatory for every department to conduct at least one student training program for every semester. So automatically, whatever is going on in the industry, those industry people come here and train our student and give the knowledge of latest technology. So the students are updated with the latest technology which are related to the industry.
Thank you so much. So, engineering field that have a historical been male dominated. Everyone knows that it's a male dominated sector. So it's not
Yes.
right, but it is a common concern. So, what
Yes.
initiatives have you undertaken to promote diversity and inclusion within the engineering programs?
Yeah, I do agree that engineering is the male dominating education. But about what I can say is that about 30 years back, I have become the engineer. That time, very few engineers were there, but still, girl students are taking admission. Now, related to certain branches like mechanical, chemical, civil, though there are few girl students, the strength of the girl students is increasing. Coming with the computer branches, almost more than 20% girl students are there in our campus. So we take due care and we take the we take the preparation for increasing this diversity. We have a separate women's cell. So that women's cell conducts various programs for the girl students, securing for their what you can say security, advancement, as well as education. We arrange various training programs. We call women entrepreneurs, we call women police, we call women people from law, and we try to help our students to develop their psychological effect also and to increase the diversity. We make necessary security arrangement in the campus also, placing CCTVs, sufficient light arrangement even during the evening. So our girls feel very safe, and that is why the count of women in our college is increasing year by year.
So, if I ask one reason why it is being dominated right now, because most of the sectors are neutral in gender perspective, but engineering has been the male dominated since its inclusion, since its inception. So, what's the reason behind? What's your opinion about that?
The reason behind this is that what I feel is that engineering is a domain in which, though you get exactly the similar degree along with the men, the working climate, the working scenario that may be different depending on various, what you can say, disciplines of engineering, depending on various locations of the industry. Many times women have to go outside and work outside the city. They have to work late at night. Say, consider civil engineering. If we see mainly the slabs, etc., those are late in the evening. So that is the time where the women have to spare the time from their family. That is why it is a bit difficult for the women to work in those adverse atmospheres. Even the mechanical engineering, women have to work on the shop floor. Nowadays, though there are many softwares also related to mechanical engineering, but they have to work there. But with the upcoming branches like computer, AI, etc., women have a good job sitting in their cabins and working on the programming and going ahead. So that is the change in scenario nowadays.
So, thank you for sharing about that. And it was a stereotype of that, and somewhere it's a reality as well. We all agree on
Yes.
that. So, my next question is: global collaboration can significantly enhance the quality of education and research. Could you discuss any partnership or collaborative efforts with international institutions that your college has involved in?
Yes, global collaboration is very much necessary because it develops or it improves certain standards of your institute also. So it is better to have certain exchange programs with various universities for the purpose of the students as well as for the purpose of the faculty. So our institute is very keen in having international and global what you can say, MOUs and their tie-up with the various international universities. Earlier, about 5 or 6 years back, we had the tie-up with North Carolina A&T State University, along with that as well as Tokushima University, Japan. And under that MOU, our students went there for MTech education. One semester they completed there in that university, as well as few of the students went there and completed their PhD program. In a collaboration with these university, we arranged international conferences consecutively for with a duration of 2 years, 3 times. So that is the advantage of international collaboration, and all the speakers, keynote speakers, chairmen from various global universities, they came to our college and those conferences were conducted. So which is a global exposure for our students, our faculty members also. Recently, we have signed MOU with Kanto Gokin University, Yokohama, Japan, as well as Tech University of Metropolitan, Chile. So under that MOUs, our faculty members, there is an exchange program where our faculty members can go there, complete their PhD work. And recently, our faculty members have gone to that Kanto Gokin University. They have presented their papers, as well as our faculty member has delivered a keynote address there. So accordingly, we can have the exchange program. One of our faculty member and PhD student has also enrolled under the guide of university from Japan. So that is how we have the international collaboration. Our students can get the research projects from these international university. So at global level, they get the technological exchange through these international collaborations.
Thank you so much for discussing about that, ma'am. It was really
Yes.
insightful. So, taking all the things away, and at my ending question, what are
Yes.
the primary goals and strategic visions for Bharati Vidyapeeth College of Engineering? And how do you plan to position the college to meet the challenges and opportunities of the future engineering landscape?
Yes. Basically, the vision of Bharati Vidyapeeth College of Engineering is to be the world-class institute for social transformation through dynamic education. So, keeping this vision in our mind, we have fixed certain goals for our institute. And under these goals, I will name a few of these, that we can arrange various faculty development programs for the development of the faculty in collaboration with the industry. We can identify social and economically relevant areas with the emerging technologies. Accordingly, our faculty members are conducting interdisciplinary research with various organizations. I'm glad to say that our university, our institute being the part of the deemed university, we have the collaboration with the medical college, medical hospital, as well as homeopathic college, dental college. So our faculty members are having certain projects and they are doing interdisciplinary research with the faculty, with the doctors. And as all of us are aware that nowadays there is a lot of scope for artificial intelligence, robotics in the healthcare products also. So our faculty members are working on that also, as well as one of our major goals is collaboration with the industry, research development organization. So looking that in mind, we have already collaborated with Central Water and Power Research Station, DRDO, ARAI. So that is useful for our students doing their project work, as well as with certain industries like Tech Mahindra, etc. Our students are doing the projects in these companies. Similarly, we are having training and consultancy services. Our faculty members are giving the consultancy to various private organizations, and we are promoting interdisciplinary research. So that is how we are trying to achieve our goals by taking various activities and trying to meet the challenges which are there in the engineering landscape. Because it is the time has come that it is not only educational institution, it should be a research institution. It should be an institution which should be collaboration with the industry. It should be an institution which should be giving the knowledge to the students which is latest technology. Then only your students can get well placement. They can be admitted to higher education. And I'm glad to say that our placement scenario is up to 90% consecutively for last 3 years. That is why our also received the award as Best Engineering College for Placement, as well as we have also received the award of Outstanding Institute in Engineering Education.
Really, that was inspiring, and you shared a lot. And I got all the answers that I was expecting you. And you also mentioned about the POP. The government has launched, the UGC has launched later, and you had already launched in your institution. The industry updates, all the things that you have mentioned was really insightful. Thank you so much for talking to us, ma'am. And for my readers, that will be beneficial for them as well. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much for inviting me on this platform. Thank you.
It's our pleasure, ma'am. Thank you so much.